Hello there everyone and welcome to the Tea Time Layering Guide video. So first up I'm going to start with the first stencil, and to start with I'm going to start with this little cup over here that has two pieces of lemon going into it. So for the full part of the cup I am going to be using some of the Volcano Lake ink to colour that in. Once that's done, I'm going to shift that stencil over slightly, and this is going to colour in that little handle that we have, and for this one I am using the Lagoon ink for that part there. I'm then going to shift that stencil down, and that is going to enable me to colour in the little lemons. For the first layer of the lemons I will be using the Sunray ink, so I'm just going to pop that through the stencil and colour those in. I can then shift that stencil over again, and this is going to add the little details, and for this one I am going to be using the chamomile ink. And that is that one complete. I can then move the stencil over, and I'm going to do this cup up here. So this is the one with the lemon that has the drips going into it. Again, as before, for the base of the cup I am using the Volcano Lake. I'm then going to slightly move that down a little bit and add the shadow or the inside of the cup using the Lagoon ink. So I'm just going to add that in and just add the little inside of the cup there. Once that's done, I'm going to move that up, and this is going to create the shadow underneath the cup, again with the Lagoon this time around. I can then move the stencil over a little bit, and this is going to colour in the rest of the saucer and also the handle. For this one I'll be using the Volcano Lake ink to add the colour in through the stencil. This cup has a little bit of a detail, little flowers that you can then add on if you want to. And for this one I will be using the chamomile ink. So I'm just going to move that slightly over the ones that I have already there, just to kind of give the detail a little bit of a shadow with the chamomile ink. Once that's done, I can move that stencil down. And then I'm going to create the little lemon that we have at the top. And for this one, I will be using the Sunray ink. So now we have two of the little images all coloured in beautifully. I'm then going to move on to this little bowl that you can see. So this is in the same stencil at the top part. And for this one, I will be using the Volcano Lake just to add in that full colour there. I'm then going to take the Lagoon, I'm going to move that stencil over, and this is going to add some little details and also the inside of that little cup or handleless bowl that we have there. I'm then going to do the one that is underneath that one, and it's slightly over to the left hand side on the stencil. Again, as before, for the base I will be using the Volcano Lake. I will move that stencil over slightly to pop in all of the little detail pieces and the inside of the bowl, and I will be using the Lagoon ink as before to add in those little details. So once I have added the inside of the bowl, I can shift that up and then add in the detail stripes too. Once that's done, I'm going to move on to this little spotty cup that we have here. Again, as before, the base of the cup will be done with the Volcano Lake. Once that's done, I'm just going to shift the stencil over and then add in the handle and the detail at the bottom of the bowl, as well as a little spots as well. So again, that one was done in the Lagoon ink. So once that's done, I'm then going to move over and I'm going to do this little cup that we have at the bottom, or a small little mug. For the base of that one, I'm going to go with the Volcano Lake like we have been doing. I'm going to shift that over, and then for this detail parts that we have here, I will be going in with the darker colour, which is the Lagoon colour. So I'm just going to add that through the stencil, and there is that little cup complete as well. We also have a little cake on the first stencil. So this is the one with the black or the kind of stamped top. So for the base of the cupcake wrapper, I will be using the pink pearl. I'm then going to shift the stencil over, and I'm going to be using the Coral Bliss just to add in the little stripes on the cupcake wrapper and the little sprinkles onto that as well. Last but not least, on this first stencil, we have these little leaves. So for this one, I'm just going to line that up with the stencil, and I'm going to be using some grass field to add some colour to those little leaves that we have. I'm then going to move on to the second stencil, and I'm going to start with the largest kettle that we have over to the side. For this one, I am going to be using the pink pearl ink to add in the colour to the kind of most of the body of the kettle there. I'm then going to shift that stencil over, and I'm then going to be using the Coral Bliss to add the colour to the top of the kettle, the handle, and also the bottom as well. So once that's done, I can then move that over, and then you can add a different colour or a darker shade, and I'm going to go in with the Heartbeat ink for that one. Once that's done, I'm then going to move on to the little kettle, or the little pot that we have, the little teapot. So for the base layer, I am going to be using the pink pearl of that one. I'm going to move that stencil over slightly, and then I'm going to do the kettle lid and also the spout. So for this one, I am going to be using the Coral Bliss to add colour through there. We then have a swirly pattern for this kettle as well. So I'm just going to pop that into place over the swirls. And for this one, I am going to be using the Coral Bliss to add a darker shade to the little pattern that we have on there. I'm then going to move over to this little teacup or tea bowl over here. For the base, I will be using the pink pearl. I'm then just going to shift over the stencil. I'm going to add in the inside of the cup using some of the Coral Bliss. And then I'm going to move that stencil over again to add in the little swirly design. And again, this time I'll be using the Coral Bliss. So once that has done, we then have another little cupcake at the bottom. So I am going to add in the base of the cupcake with the pink pearl, so a nice little pink cupcake wrapper, and I'm going to move that over slightly, add in the detail or the shading to the cupcake wrapper using some of the Coral Bliss, and then I can move that stencil over again, lining up the top part, and I'm just going to add in the cake with a little bit of the chamomile ink just to add that little lemon kind of cake look there. Once that's done, we just then have this little branch at the bottom. I'm going to pop the leaves into place, and for the leaves I am going to be using the Grass Fields ink, so I'm just going to ink that up and then add the colour through that stencil. Once the leaves are done, I can then shift that stencil over slightly, so I'm just going to move that up, and then I'm going to add the little flowers in using Lagoon. So that is all of the layering complete. We really do hope this video helps. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you again really, really soon. Bye bye.